My name is Ron Geaves. I'm a poet. I've been writing poetry for about 25 years. I'm presently based near Cardigan, and I belong to a group of poets known as the Cellar Bards. I'm going to read a number of poems. With the exception of one, all of the poems were written in Wales or inspired by Welsh landscape. The first poem is called Remembrance. Remember, each heart has its own song. The glass of wine recalls the remembrance of the beloved. A light in my darkened room shimmers from no outward source. Raindrops batter against the window pane. In my stillness there is motion. In profound silence, the merest sound. Listen, listen. Every poem has its own secret. The next poem is the only one that wasn't written in Wales. It was actually written in Cornwall, so a similar kind of Celtic landscape. It's a fantasy poem of a fairy land. It's called Windseer. Windseer speaks in tongues of gorse and quartz. Naomi talks to him of prophets, but he cannot hear. In the city of sleep, worm-bleached bones of Merlin obscurely remember sunlight, woken by Windseer's song. The skylark seeks weed seed on the wind and echoes Naomi's cry. Sky is endless, but birds still fly. Sea is deep, but fish still swim. Windseer sings them all. Naomi talks to him of prophets, but he doesn't hear. The next poem is inspired by the mountain I live on in the village of Arberth, and also by the stories that my wife used to tell me of her grandfather, who was a native Welsh speaker and used to go up onto the high mountains of the Brecons to listen to preachers who preached hellfire and brimstone in Welsh, and he would always come back, and the more agitated the preachers were, the more he loved it. So I brought in images of Old Testament prophets into the poem, but the poem is really about standing on my mountain and seeing the Tavy Valley. It's called Community of One. Stand high in the forest, Merlin in the moor, a priest with no land, no mother, no father, Melchizedek without the law, a prophet to whom no one speaks or listens, no sacrifices bar the will to breath, the breath in the will, Abraham without his tribe, a community of one. Resolve the conundrum. The world departs, even my only son, the woman who bore him. The peace will stay, with no remains. It has no place to go, it did not come. Path without footsteps, race without a victor, bridge without a road, breath without a trace. Now, then, and even when, a community of one. The next poem is the first poem I wrote inspired by Welsh landscape after a visit to the reservoir that flooded the hamlet or village of Eddleston in the Brecon Beacons. The sun rests on the beacons where it dimmed near 100 years before. The third generation of Sitka spruce since the deluge kissed the skyline, bide the axe. Their predecessors fell in Roman rose, replaced by motley rowan, birch and oak, druid to the core. Pink clouds, so tender rose, hints of coral in still waters, where the blackened iron ore engine pulled its weary weight. The metal tracks lie in the shallows beneath our feet, where a carp plays leaping near the shore. the red lion sain sways hardly in the currents, where the long pike prey, all 92 feet deep in the reservoir. When you stand, breath quietens so very slow. You can hear Jenkins and Jones, ambidextrous to the core, still cursing, ribald jesting, freed from Capel Bethel and the Fulling Mill. To the south, farmsteads had cushioned in patched fields. To the north, Anissavalin is no more. The bridge of gossip emerges in low water. Twin arches so lightly bear the cart horse and its heavy load. Draw home every end of day, tread faint into the pink haze and disappear. The next poem is called The Island of Lost Souls. Lost Souls is the name that the sailors used to give to the Manx shearwater and their vast flocks that breed on the island of Skoma. And it was inspired by a weekend visit. The Island of Lost Souls. In the night, the lost souls shriek. Reared in darkness, they fear the light. They fatten, these hungry ghosts that crave. They fatten, denizens of the underworld, on sustenance carried from afar. They host only inches deep beneath our feet. We tread on their soft hearts, awaiting flight, as they seek shelter from the bright. There are wings that flutter, there are wings that whir, on a journey home to softly underground. There are wings that raucous chatter, growl like hounds. There are wings torn from flight, black and wretched, betrayed by moonlight, scattered above beating hearts of soft plumage. Even the endless wind cannot lift them from the ground. Born in endless night, they gaze up at high pinpricks of crystal white, and they know that from above life and death both call. There are wings on Skoma, there are wings. Final poem is a rare jaunt into politics for me, but I'm working on a collection which kind of echoes William Blake's songs of innocence and experience, and kind of bringing that up to date and looking at the scenarios of our children today and their experiences of innocence and experience. The poem is called Just Look at Them and Sigh, which you might recognize. The title is from a very famous song, Let the Children Play by Neil Young, and it goes like this. The politician called for education, 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 and the voices replied, it's the economy, stupid. The piper of efficiency was hired, and with whispers of productivity he took them all away. The forest and the fields, even the city streets, resound with the silence of our lost children. Long forgotten, when the prophet spoke, forbid them not. Willingly we gave the Gradgrind custody. Now stressed in locked rows, they sit sacrificed to prosperity. What happened to the voice from the past, the bard that sang when the green woods laugh? Thank you.